The following is a sketch of a dream to borrow from a dream meaning dictionary. Debt is a warning to you that you will lose the temptation. When you have this dream, be careful and act more carefully than ever. Dream meaning, a dream to apply for debt. The dream that you apply for debt to someone is a sign of poor financial luck. Especially, you will be troubled by unexpected expenses. It is possible that the cash you have is not enough, and you may end up with the savings you have accumulated, or you may end up with a debt or loan. Made by Yumeji Tais and Mademoiselle Hardship Publishing. The meaning of money lending and the meaning of dreams. The meaning of a lender in a dream is not the same as a real lender, but one that brings happiness to the other. The following is an excerpt of a loaner item from a dream meaning book. Dream meaning, the meaning of the dream of lending. A money lender is a person who borrows money. In other words, you are the one who borrows money. It means a person who robs me of what I have. Dream meaning, the dream that the person you owe is dead. Freedom from suffering. Dream meaning, a dream that you are required to repay a debt from a loan. One implication of the coming of hardship. 2. If the sick person has this dream, be careful not to get worse, it means the repayment of life. 3. Expenses related to children are high. 4. The disaster that happens to children. Excerpt from Gakukensha, the final edition of the Yumeiseki Encyclopedia, written by Fuji Tatsuhiko. Below is a snippet of a dream to pay a loan from a dream meaning dictionary. A dream you pay a loan. It means that you are liable to someone and that you have to make some compensation. It also means that we must fulfill our heavy responsibilities over the long term. The dream that you have paid off your loan is a reflection of your desire to escape responsibility. Definitive edition. Yumi meaning, written by Masayuki Kajiwara, published by Shufu no Tamasha. Dream to debt summary. The dream of collecting debts is a dream that prepares your feelings in the dream when you know that something bad will happen. You realize that hard things can happen in the real world, and you're trying to build endurance. The psychologist Freud, who laid the foundation for the meaning of dreams, explained that dreams are seen to satisfy wishes. In your dreams, what you owe is that you have a desire to fulfill, whether in reality or in debt. There is a saying that debt is a future borrowing. If you have a dream of debt, be careful not to debt it. It is good to think so that you can live a life that suits your height. Dream meaning, debt dream. Below is a sketch of a debt dream from a dream meaning dictionary. If you dream of paying off your debt, you are in the good luck. If you ask someone else to repay your debt, you risk losing money. Gambling is strictly prohibited. Asukushensha Publishing by Russell Grant. Dream meaning, when you have a dream of debt. The following is a sketch of a dream to borrow from a dream meaning dictionary. Your dream of borrowing money means your desire to achieve results without effort. It is also likely to be seen when actually feeling financially uneasy. Money. Your dream that you can't pay back because you are in debt means that your sense of money has diminished. Be careful not to spoil your money and spend too much money on your hobbies. You should also stop gambling. Good luck. Your dream of returning debt is an implied solution to your worries and troubles. Yumi meaning, Genevieve, Sarah, G. Tsugyo no Nihonsha Publishing. Meaning of dream. What is the basic meaning of a dream where debt comes out? Debt cannot be born without mutual trust and trust. The dream that such debt comes out represents future trust and confidence between you and someone. For example, if you dream of having a big debt from someone, it means that someone's trust and confidence in you will soon increase. Conversely, if you borrow a small amount of money, it means that someone's trust and confidence in you has declined. One thing to watch out for is the face of the other person when you are in debt. If the other person's face appears to be laughing, it means you are lucky. On the contrary, if the face is unfriendly, it means that misfortune will come to you. In this way, it is very important that the dream of borrowing money was big or small, and how the other person's face was. The dream that you owe your debt to buy a home suggests a promise for great growth. Debt is not only a bad thing, but in a dream, the point of view is the price to pay, which makes the interpretation different. You can say that your expectations are very high, because it is a house that you can borrow and build. The house you dreamed of is both your home of consciousness and your current state. It's best to accept that you are overwhelmed with the promise of some big growth in the coming years. Also, what you see and what you really mean may not be the same now. At first glance it may seem like a dead end, but it can be an opportunity to be happy, and your staying consciousness may tell you that. Dream meaning, dream to borrow. Debt in your dreams implies that your luck is insecure. The dream meaning indicates that your luck may change significantly depending on your future trends and social conditions. Careful attention is required in making decisions and actions. Don't panic, think carefully before you act. Also, you may be in a situation where you are a little missed. The dream meaning indicates that you are physically and psychologically separated from your lover and close friends, and that you are extremely swaying. The dream meaning warns you that you should be more careful than usual because you may get on a suspicious invitation that you would not normally get caught. Dream meaning, dream that has debt even in reality. If you are in some form of debt, such as a mortgage or card payment, in reality, the thoughts you feel in your dreams are a reflection of your real thoughts on debt. How did you feel in a dream sense? If you've been thinking positively about your repayments, you're probably working hard so you don't delay payments in reality. If debt was a psychological burden, then the ability to actually pay may be reaching its limit. The dream meaning is to try to reduce the existing debts by refraining from new shopping in the future. Dreaming of your debt may be in crisis. Money is a reality and an integral part of life. Money dreams are related to the work to earn a living and the love needed to live as much as money. Sometimes it means straight fortune. The funny thing is, it's rare to be a true dream. A dream to become a rich man means a large amount of expense, and a dream to pay money means an increase in fortune. However, in the case of a dream of debt, no matter how much money you get, whether you return it to another person or pay it to another person, it is the money borrowed from a person and not your own. Unlike a dream of paying one's own money to another person, spending the borrowed money does not mean good fortune or affection. To borrow money means you need money right now. And you don't have the money you need right now. A dream of debt means that you are now in an unstable position where you have to get someone to help you. The dream of worries about debt implies that we are in a critical situation right now and have to make choices. If you come to a conclusion in your dreams, the choice will be whatever your outcome will be, but if you're worried all the time, you're likely to remain in a crisis situation for a while. It can be interpreted as indicating that the situation is such that the debt is inevitable, and it can also be a weakness to the temptation to easily run into debt. Below is an introduction to what each means and means. Trust credit. As I mentioned at the beginning, debt is associated with credit problems. You can't lend a lot of money to someone you don't trust. The debt in a dream represents a relationship of trust with the other person. If you dream of borrowing a lot of money from a stranger, that person will eventually become a person who really trusts you. On the other hand, if you borrow a small amount, you may lose the trust of that person. Also, if the person who borrowed the money was laughing, it would give me a feeling of increased luck. However, if your opponent is angry or has an unfriendly face, your luck will be greatly reduced. Representation of a crisis situation. Money is an integral part of modern life. The dream that you have to borrow it indicates that you are in a crisis situation. You may have trouble at work or in your private life and feel uneasy. You may have to make an important choice right now. The stress of your crisis can turn into debt dreams. Dream not to pay off debt. The dream of not being able to pay off debt has bad meaning. There are also serious warning dreams in some situations. The dream of being unable to repay the debt and seized is the implied loss of life or illness. If you feel unwell, go to the hospital early and have your test done. The dream of running away at night with debt is proof that he is negative for problems that cannot be solved. The dream of not paying off debt is a hint of escape from what should be done in reality. There is also the possibility that you will lose important work and lose trust. Let's clean up one by one before developing into trouble. Dream of holding debt due to failure. The dream of failing in business or stocks and having debts is the same as the anxiety of what to do if you fail in work, cash flow, or stock trading. But in reality, if you haven't failed yet, You might just worry too much. Take all possible measures and avoid trouble by eliminating the anxiety factors. Debt dreams often lead directly to your financial troubles. However, the meaning and implications change depending on the dream situation you have, such as suffering from repayment or foreclosure, being urged to take debts, or having someone you know has debt. Depending on your dream situation, it may mean a warning, so let's use the dream meaning that matches your dream and apply it to your daily life.